Darlington Raceway may be the track too tough to tame, but for 1 week and 1 week only, the drivers of the Integrity Racing League will have to dance with the Lady in Black not once, but twice in the span of 2 days. The doubleheader at Darlington begins tonight with the fittingly titled Integrity Throwback Night 200, and one of the most historic ovals in stock car racing gets to play host to the virtual Xfinity Series machines for round 5 of the 2023 B season. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remain on the board as it stands. Fastest man is DJ Stagner, and he's been quickest not only in practice, but to this point, he's been the fastest man in qualifying as well. The number 64 looking for his first win of the season as he comes back from a championship-winning quest just a few months ago. Stagner concludes his qualifying run alongside the rest of the field as we get things going for the 5th round of this season. Great to have you all aboard after a week off. From North Wilkesboro, we head to Darlington, and another historic venue looking to give us the same quality racing that we saw just 2 weeks before. Great to have you all once again on FTN. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Great to be alongside you all once more as we come back to the Ignite series. It was a week off, and we missed this series dearly. The Octane series, it did not disappoint either with the playoffs just beginning, but here is a bit of a different pace coming into Darlington. The playoffs have already begun, and it'll be their first race tomorrow night, but here, it's still the regular season. Time to make of it what you can, and if you get a win here, it's still very early in the championship hunt. The Clash is still several races away, and almost a full month away, so if there is an opportunity to capitalize now more than ever, it would be tonight. 2 minutes remain on the qualifying board with Cody Smith now the fastest man, and he's up there with a total of 13 thousandths of a second, the advantage for the number 18 machine. Smith got up into the wall, but he's already the quickest man by a wide margin compared to most drivers on the track. Forrest Smith is right now in the 16th spot. Sean Comedy is in 14th, Cody Griffin 13th, and Brandon Bernhardt is in 12th. Those are all the drivers right now who are on the track, save for Gael Brooks. Gael just got on the track for the first time, and it looks like the number 71 machine might choose to go for a very late qualifying run as he sits on pit road for the first time. Still watching Forrest Smith right now trying to get a lap in, but as it stands, every driver on the track has already taken at least one qualifying lap, so not much else going to change. Qualifying already all but concluded, and Cody Smith, bar an unexpected lap, would be the fastest man and would be your pole sitter for this race. So with qualifying all but concluded, why don't we get to know our field as the Next Level Racing number 18 looks to lead the way, and take a look at who will be here in the Integrity Throwback Night 200. 146 laps of racing, and they come and go quick at this track. It might look like a daunting task to get around this circuit. It does look relatively long, but not only is it shorter than every intermediate track save for Nashville, it's also quite the quick one. The banking, very slim, but if you use it just right, the momentum you'll get will carry you all the way around the track. Turns 1 and 2, different from 3 and 4, one of the most unique tracks in motorsport, and we get to experience it firsthand here on this beautiful Monday night. The track is empty as it stands, but in a few moments' time, that will change, so how's about we get to know who's in the field before we see them for the first time in formation. Without further ado, this will be your starting grid for the Integrity Throwback Night 200 from the Darlington Raceway. Let's get things going for round 5 of 2023B, and the top man on the order will be Cody Smith. Smith takes it to the pole position with a 30.306, and then from there, we're going to be Matthew Thunhorse in second, 14 one-thousandths off of the top time. Thomas Bresci going to be scored in third as it stands, with Rob Ackley position number 4, only separate by 8 one-thousandths of a second on the second row. DJ Stagner was the fastest man when we got through our practice session, and now going to be 5th in qualifying. Your defending champion sits there just outside of the first 2 rows with a 30.373. Then from there, you're going to see Michael Stroll in the number 6 spot with a 33.81, and it'll be Timothy Johnston representing a special paint scheme tonight, red, white, and blue. 30.417 for Johnston, with Jacob Fife position number 8 with a 30.445. Then from there, going to be Brian McFerrin in the 9th spot with a 40, of course, taken down 30.463, and Chad Mikas, 200ths of a second off, will be there with a 30.484. And to round out your top 10, we'll go to Casey Shue, then in the 11th, and from there on out, Brandon Bernhardt going to be in position number 12, with Cody Griffin coming back to the field with a 30.634, seating him just in front of Sean Carmody for that 13th spot. Sean will be outside of row number 7 with a 36.93, and Kyle Cooper will be the man who rounds out the top 15 with a 30.771. From there on out, Forrest Smith's going to be 16th with a 30.777. It'll be Jonathan Gearbon in the 17th spot with a 39.56, and Cal Filarski will be the final driver to take a time, 18th on the order, 31.19 for the driver of the number 6. Then from there, Don Stevenson will be the first man to qualify on iRating with a 47 machine straight up to 19th. It'll be Alec Daffin rounding out your top 20, and Justin Morton scored in 21st. Going to be Alan Dobbs, then 22nd after a fierce playoff race in the Octane Series, and Shane Ewing 23rd, with Travis McQuistion 24th, Gael Brooks 25th, and Chris Cabot position number 26 with the number 94 machine of Boomer Logan rounding out your 27-car field. This is the Ignite Throwback Night 200, and this is your starting grid. And the field still taking practice laps as it stands, as we're going to take a look at some of the drivers on the track. Number 28 machine of Timothy Johnston comes to mind as one of the first we'd like to look at all throughout our broadcast. Before we get things going, of course, 3 streams on FTN tonight, but we're going to be the first to tell you, of course, that this is a day of remembrance. Not only, of course, with throwback schemes and the like, but for the patriotic design of this number 28 machine, a reminder that takes us to reality, the 22nd anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks that happened over 2 decades ago. Despite the, of course, long period of time, it has always been in the memory and the hearts of Americans and those who have been lost. We would like to thank, of course, all of our United States in terms of the people itself, the government, and the military who have kept us safe over the years and making sure that an attack like that will never happen again. We thank our viewers who largely reside in the United States for their incredible support, and we hope that if you did leave, of course, anyone behind in these attacks, that our condolences go with you from the FTN team. And we thank you dearly for coming out tonight at the Darlington Raceway, not only to remember the past of stock car racing, but to honor those who we lost on this day 22 years ago. And as we take it back with our timing charts right now, Johnston, one of the many drivers on the track. We'd like to focus on him first, of course, for the paint scheme, but in addition, looking good once again. One of the quieter drivers in the field, but he's going to find himself one of the many with a time so far. Thomas Bressi, fastest of which right now, and it looks like drivers are still getting onto the circuit. 56 seconds remaining for 13 drivers who have taken a time. As it stands, Johnston going to be scored in the 12th spot. It's Thomas Bressi over Michael Stroll, Justin Morton, and Chad Mikas, and then from there you'll see the top 5 is rounded out by Casey Shue. Warm-up not going to be all too long. Of course, drivers getting 5 more minutes to prepare their equipment and go into the action, so not much time to speak of, but when they're ready to rumble, you'll see them on the grid, and these changes might be the difference between a victory and a loss. You know, it's not a lot of time, but as you see the track continue to develop, change from when the session started, you might be able to pick apart a few advantages the rest of the field don't have, because tonight, Darlington, as always, it will develop and it will wear different from the first lap to the last. Most recently, I was able to have the privilege of calling a very long race at Darlington, the Kicking the Tires 500-kilometer on FTF and their Bar Visuals Cup Series, and throughout the night, track temperatures got cooler, the track was less slick, and eventually drivers began to use the older tires much longer in the race. Now tonight, it looks like in sim, we don't see much nighttime at all, so we might see different use of the tire. Keep an eye out for those drivers and the strategies here with 146 laps left on the table. That's an awful lot of time to see drivers trying things a bit differently to make sure their strategy is the one that takes them all the way to the victory lane. That remains to be seen, of course, as the field comes on to their formation lap. Front stretch is busy, and now it's time to see who's got what it takes to get it done in the Throwback Night 200. And As the pack comes by the start-finish line in just a few moments, we're looking at the majority of the field. Already Cody Smith, Matthew Thunhorse there, and Thomas Bressi with a different look that we can see. Quite a few throwback schemes in the field tonight, and actually, of course, you see DJ Stagner has the Rainbow Warrior paint scheme with the Swamp Motorsports decals. The throwback for Timothy Johnston goes back to Ken Schrader and then Kyle Busch. We've got quite a lot of paint schemes to look at tonight. Another night with very special designs coming out. A few drivers brought them to North Wilkesboro. A few drivers choosing to take them here today. Quite a lot reminiscent of the past of stock car racing, and it looks like already we're looking to grab a gear and get things going from the track too tough to tame. As the field begins to roll one final time, looks like a total of 26 drivers joining us on the formation lap, going back to Boomer Logan and Chris Goubeau. You'll see Justin Morton getting in the middle of this one, the 84 machine of Ford Smith getting back up there as well. And as all the drivers get ready to roll, we're going to see quite a few of them hoping to make a charge early. Darlington is a big track position circuit, and with such a small racing groove, you've got to optimize your time and your position. The banking originally was used for safety purposes. Drivers would use the lower side of the track and only go up to the top side where racing is today in the case of an emergency with little tire grip. That is not the way the track is ran any longer, and this small strip is why they call it the track too tough to tame. Little room, still little grip, and a lot on the line. Tonight, of course, drivers looking to lock themselves into the playoff race early. The clash is still quite a ways away, but why not get it here? Lock yourself in at one of NASCAR's most prestigious tracks. It's the Ignite Throwback Night 200, and the drivers are on their way from the Lady in Black. We're green from the Darlington Raceway. As the field comes by, this time through a little bit of trouble in the back of the pack, looks to be for Gael Brooks. All the same, field will come by and take lap one with Matthew Thunhorse as your new race leader. Thunhorse going to be able to get it. The rest of the field is still behind, and they're mostly single file here, and some major changes made to the NASCAR Xfinity machines on iRacing ever since our most recent broadcast with them here on FTN. iRacing's major September patch came out just a few weeks ago, and actually giving these drivers a different feel for the car compared to several years in a row. Now the new damage model is in place, so these drivers are going to have to think with that in their minds. You do not want to give these cars damage early because it's a bit more realistic now, and even still, it can be a hefty toll to pay, especially early in the race. Thankfully, it looks to be Cal Filarski who gets it back together. Number 6 machine going to be back in the field, and no major damage appearing to be on that car, but a lot of track position he's going to have to make up here as he fades to 26th and last of the drivers still on the track. Thunhorse going to take it a line and lead once again, and now Cody Smith going to be on his back bumper. Number 18 machine looking to make a move here, but has not found opportunity. As we ride on board here with Cody Smith, and we're going to take it through all the way throughout the corners as you watch him fly by. Take a look once again. Smith is going to go slightly down low. Thunhorse is going to run a higher line to get more momentum, and it looks like for Cody, just not the runoff he needs, trying to cut down on some distance, but a lunge here at Darlington, it is risky, and from that far distance, you got to go with the leader here. That's what Cody's going to do through 1 and 2, and with the draft and the momentum line in play, he's going to be able to get a better apex and keep right there with Matthew Thunhorse. Either way, Clean Air is a major proponent of a race lead, so with Thunhorse jumping out so quickly, Cody's going to be a bit of trouble here. If he can't find a major advantage, maybe tire saving, maybe some fuel strategy overall, he might be stuck behind the wake of the race leader, be it Thunhorse or anyone else, as the race continues to go on. So far, the drivers have gotten very filed out from the back of the field. You'll see side by side now. Ford Smith drops down low. He'll let Brandon Bernhardt by, but for the most part, single file is the norm here. Sean Carmody going to be on the way, and Cody Griffin running a very basic paint scheme, and in my memory, which might not be serving me right here, reminds me mostly of Greg Sachs and his win in the Firecracker 400 in 1985. Now, of course, that's not a very well-known paint scheme, so might once again be a bit incorrect on that one, but it comes back to Daytona and a huge win for Dyard Racing in 85. It was a research and development car, but it came to dominate the field there, and Sachs collecting his one and only NASCAR Cup Series win, racing in the National Series and even in the Xfinity Series until 2011. He was in that race that Dale Jr. won with the Wrangler paint scheme, and tonight, even if there is no direct correlation, a very familiar paint scheme for Cody Griffin as he takes it around the track 7 laps in of 146. McFerrin's right ahead, Chad Mikas is too, and Jacob Fife's going to be position number 8 right now, 8 laps in, trying to chase down that All-American number 28. At the head of the field right now, Thomas Bressi now putting down some moves, and Thomas will take it down to the bottom side, trying to lunge in and take that race lead, working out on the low line. It's going to be Thomas Bressi looking to the inside, and as they come down the line yet again, it is going to be lap 9 of 146 with our first race lead battle already brewing. And for the first time tonight, we'd like to establish a new partnership on the FTN channel. Lap 9, sponsored by Tango Paints, up-and-coming graphic designer Toll Open, providing the highest quality NASCAR iRacing paint schemes and liveries at the best price possible. Up your game and represent your racing identity with paint schemes starting at $50 a piece. Be sure to visit Tango Paints on Twitter for more information, as we're proudly presenting Lap 9 to you, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints. If you'd like to take a look at what they're all about, take a look at this quick video and find out if you're in store for a Tango Paint sometime soon. And once again, we'd like to thank our brand new partner on the channel, Toll Owen and Tango Paints, for bringing Lap 9 to you tonight. And once again, if you want to check that out, be sure to visit Tango Paints on Twitter. That is the handle you'll want to go to for the highest quality iRacing graphics on the market. Very recently, they announced a partnership with Ancient World and the Joey Stone crew that puts together great races on Wednesday nights, and it looks like another great step for one of the up-and-coming graphic designers in the iRacing scene. So be sure to check them out once again. Prices begin at $50 as we come back to the action on lap 12. Cody Smith leads the way, but not without a challenge there from Thomas Bressi. Bressi getting very close to taking that race lead, but just not enough momentum off the edge of the corner. And now he's going to find himself in the back bumper of Cody Smith yet again. And Cody Smith able to take it from Matthew Thunhorse. Looks like Thunhorse is going to be shuffled back into third. Rob Ackley is going to be fourth. And from there on out, you're going to see DJ Stagner fighting with Michael Stroll. And tonight, it looks like Michael Stroll bringing together yet another special paint scheme all the same. We've seen him for the most part throw it back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the blue and white AC Delco Chevrolet, but tonight it is all metal, which looks in some part like Terry Labonte's metallic paint scheme he ran later into his career with Hendrick Racing. Now, not quite sure if that's the paint scheme in specific, running still the 38 base, but it's all metal tonight, as it looks like the Iron Man will chase down the Wonder Boy and Jeff Gordon, and very similar paint schemes in that regard. Hendrick Racing represented twice over, as Stagner is going to lead Stroll into turns 1 and 2. Rob Ackley's going to be now in fourth, chasing down Matthew Thunhorse, and Ackley's been hit or miss this season, but when he's on, he's most certainly one of the drivers to look out for. One podium on the tour so far, got close to another at Watkins Glen, and actually got close to the win at Watkins Glen, getting that third place finish, and he has been able to show that he has enough speed to compete consistently, but it's always about the strategy and all the changes that come with it. If Ackley can put it together week after week, he'd be a surefire championship contender and perhaps the favorite. Two-time winner in the Ignite Series already, winning the very first race at Daytona and winning the first race in the Clash last season. He knows what it's like to get it done with this field, and he knows that it's all about the long run too, so he's right there on Matthew Thunhorse's bumper, but going to lay back a bit further right now, waiting for a race to continue to play out to find out what the right move is because if he wants to make the best decisions, he'll have to look it all through. Long term is the best way to go about it, as right now it's going to be Cody Smith leading the way over Bresci, Thunhorst, Ackley, and Stagner. Top 5 remains the same, and the number 18 machine remains advantageous. Looking off the back bumper here of Cody Smith, you'll see that 24 getting even closer once again, but still not much coming of it as he tried to take it down to the bottom side. Now this is the beauty of iRacing here. Thomas Bresci looking off of a virtual reality headset, so let's take a look inside of his perspective live on FTN. Now you're seeing on the bottom right of your screen exactly what Bresci is seeing as they're side by side. Thomas is able to take it through and now has the race lead, and you saw the pass through his virtual headset. That is exactly what he'll see right now as he enters turns 3 and 4. This is almost as if he's inside the cockpit of that Chevrolet, getting to immerse himself in the view and only finding himself in the virtual Darlington right now with no other distractions. And that all immersive look is going to take him to the top spot. New race leader Thomas Bresci out in front with another brand new paint scheme for him, the Exalta machine, once again getting a bit of a facelift with a Flames design. And also got those different color shades of Nicorette and their sponsorship of the number 24 in times beforehand, but still is Exalta as Cody Smith lunges deep and tries to make something of it that time, but not close enough. And as we take a brief look there at Thomas Bresci's onboard perspective, we'll take it right back. New race leader and some shuffling in the middle of the field here. You'll see Forrest Smith with Cody Griffin. They're side by side. Alec Daffin is going to be with Alan Dobbs, and Dobbs is going to take it deep to the bottom of the track. And Shaw Racing 48 will follow up high. Doesn't get much of a run there, though. Looks like Dobbs is going to maintain his position. And from there, tire wear is going to become a very important factor. We're already seeing drivers drop down to the 32-second range. Alec Daffin, one of which, his best lap tonight is a 30.987 overall. His most recent lap is over a second off that pace. It's a 32.053. So clearly, these times are getting changed as the night goes on, and already some drivers in trouble when it comes to race pace. Tires are shredded here. Darlington, high speeds and not much to rely on in terms of banking, so you've really got to do your work, study up on the track, and find out what is best, because if you cannot keep the pace down all night long, it's going to come back to bite you here. And it looks like right now the back of the leading crew is coming up to the front. They've saved their stuff up a bit more. Guys like Timothy Johnston, Michael Stroll, and DJ Stagner find themselves in the rear end right now, as you'll see Rob Ackley there with Matthew Thunhorst, and Stagner now looking like he's going to make a move. He looks down low for the very first time, does not have room. He'll wait for it for now, but it already looks like it's a certainty that DJ is going to try to make something happen as the night progresses. Looking at all these drivers in a bundle, 6 drivers of which, then 7 with Bresci and frame. They'll take it down to the start and finish line once again and keep it in a single file motion, trying to make sure that they can keep it together until the race is over. Equipment right now might not be the biggest issue. I mean, these drivers have been able to hold it together very well to this point. Looks clean out in front, and right now Darlington, these drivers know one thing for certain: it's very hard to go double file, let alone stay double file. If you can keep it 2x2 for a long period of time, it takes a lot of skill, and if you have it, that's great, but not a lot of drivers possess the ability to do such a thing for more than 2 or 3 laps at the very most. Right now we see some drivers in the back of the field doing such a thing, mainly still Daffin, as he now finds himself fighting with Dobbs, and Forrest Smith is still there with Cody Griffin. Back of the field being a bit more aggressive than the front right now, as they're trying to race each other for any position. Any track position is good track position, as Dobbs gets loose and takes it down to the bottom. And that's what we mean about being side by side at Darlington. You cannot risk it consistently, because eventually it's going to come back to bite you, like we just saw there. And Cody Griffin's now on the wall, and it's going to become back and forth as he takes Alec Daffin down. And down to the bottom Cody Griffin goes. He's going to be disposed of, and it looks like now back of the field for Cody Griffin. No caution has gone out, and it looks like we're going to remain green as the number 3 machine now sees the caution fly. 25 laps in, and that's going to be Cody Griffin around for the first yellow flag of the day. Got in the wall, tried to put the power down immediately thereafter, and the number 3 machine goes off of the front end of Alec Daffin. That will be yellow flag number 1. And just like that, caution is out as we're going to take an instant replay on the matter. It's going to be Daffin involved. It's going to be Cody Griffin, most importantly, getting dropped down to the bottom of the track. So let's find out. You can already see by that point, he is spun on the front straightaway. But this is something that was happening several laps in a row with some aggressive driving, and that is what led to this incident. Griffin's going to be ahead of Daffin, but it looks like he's losing some time, gets in the wall, and tries to put the power back down immediately, gets loose, and that's what's going to happen. He's going to come back down, tap Daffin, and take them all down to the bottom side of the track. And just like that, first caution of the day is going to be out. Cody Griffin going to bring out your very first as we get things going here in Darlington. The number 3 machine loses the back bumper, and all of a sudden he's in quite a lot of trouble as they'll bring it down to pit road. This time by, field is already becoming in safe for Boomer Logan as Logan now looks to be on the track alone. Rest of the field now going to opt to take it to pit road and find out what's the word on strategy. Pit road is busy now as the drivers make it in. It's going to be Boomer Logan, the only driver out, and we'll be watching your pit road exit camera to find out who's got what it takes to come out of pit road with a lead. Drivers are exiting as it stands, but do they have enough for Thomas Bressi? The answer is no. Going to be Bressi ahead of Matthew Thunhorst and Cody Smith, and Rob Ackley, DJ Stagner, Timothy Johnston, Michael Stroll, Chad Mikas, Jacob Fife, Brian McFerrin, Sean Carmody, Don Stevenson, and then Alan Dobbs. And from there on out, it's going to be Ford Smith rounding out the top 15. Looks like Brian McFerrin, Don Stevenson swap places, but the rest of the field all the same. Boomer Logan's going to come down to pit road, this time by, opts to lead a lap, and now going to take it to pit road all the same. So the number 94 makes it in this time by. He's going back on cycle, and Thomas Bressi will lead him around this time through. Going to be Bressi leading. He'll take it down to the bottom side of the track, and now we are ready to go at it yet again. Low side for Bressi, high side going to be taken for Matthew Thunhorst, and we've got one lap till the green flag flies all over again, with Boomer Logan making it back out on the track in a moment's notice. And with Logan opting to go on to pit road, he's going to come out at the tail end of the field. Going to find himself 26th and last effectively as he makes it out right now. Daffin getting back up to the pack. And we're already going to go back to the green flag. Very quick yellows at Darlington here as the pace car is moving at 60 miles an hour. All of a sudden, time to get right back into the racing. 27 laps in out of 146 going on to lap number 28. Tonight actually going to be a doubleheader on FTN following some scheduling conflicts. The 4-wheel truck series deciding not to race tonight and instead to race on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So stick around for that. We'll be updating all of our viewers on how the broadcasting will be managed, as I believe there's a conflict there, but that will be resolved. SRL Cup Series at Nashville tonight, but they're not here at Darlington, and they don't have one more lap to green like we do. 27 laps in out of 146. We'll be going back green instead at lap 29, as the field will get bunched up with one extra formation lap, and we will head back to the green flag at lap 29. Already a quick first run in the books. Drivers come down to pit road. Every driver has come in within the last 2 laps. The only driver on a different set of tire is Boomer Logan. Boomer's at the back of the field, and he has scored now in the 22nd position with multiple drivers going all the way up high. Logan is down low right behind Kyle Cooper and will begin this run 22nd on the order. Now as you look right back up, it is going to be Thomas Bressi leading the way, then Matthew Thunhorst going to be second, inside and outside. Let's get to it this time by and find out who's got what it takes as they go through the Boeing backstretch one final time under yellow. Bressi able to command the field on that first run. Now the question is, can Matthew Thunhorst do what he did last time and put himself back on the map with a quick restart launch? Gotten the lead on the first lap. Now the question is, can he do it all over again? Let's find out this time by as the drivers drop down to the start-finish line through turns 3 and 4. Let's get right back to business with your first restart of the day. Green flag's going to be headed by Thomas Bressi, and we will return to the action here at the Lady in Black. And Thomas Bressi this time gets exactly the jump he needs. He's in no jeopardy of losing that race lead. Now the 24 machine's the man out in front, and by a substantial margin compared to all but Matthew Thunhorse. 1-2 getaway, rest of the field, not so much. They're all going to be scattered behind, but they're mostly close to one another. Looks like some packs already forming, but the 24 machine has been able to check out and leave the rest of the field in the dust. Thunhorse stays in the back bumper right now, but nobody else as close as the caution flies once more. Already going to be some trouble with Cal Filarski and Boomer Logan. Yellow flag has flown. Let's find out just what happened. And the instant replay on the matter will show you here. You could see Cal Filarski down low. Some contact from Alec Daffin. Got to get him loose. And again with Daffin, the 6 machine comes up, then tags Logan. And once again, yellow flag is out. Thankfully, not a major incident as the drivers get it back going. But still a caution all the same as Logan fades back on time. Yellow flag is out 31 laps in. And we're back under the caution for the second time in 5 laps. All of a sudden, the driver is going to be back at a standstill here with Thomas Bressi leading the way, Matthew Thunhorse in second, and Rob Ackley in third. So, with all this being said so early, cautions coming back to back, and it looks like the one caution breeds another. Now, that we've seen quite a lot before, so that's not much of a surprise, but it looks like it's going to come very quickly after a good first stint. Now seeing some trouble and some chaos, and all the same, Bressi's going to lead him through. Matthew Thunhorse not too far behind. Rob Ackley now in third. The podium got away. Rest of the field, not so much. And even then, it was Thunhorse who really got close to Thomas Bressi. Rob Ackley was still given a bit of distance. No drivers are expected to come down to pit road this time by, except for the back of the field. Chris Goubeau is in. Alec Daffin as well. Looks like Cal Filarski and Boomer Logan are through. And Cody Griffin's the final man to join them. And as the 5-car bundle comes in, they'll be the only drivers left on pit road as the pace car still has its lights on. 24 machine leads the way and able to get a fantastic jump on the restart. Now he knows he's got the advantage, and the bottom side treating him well. The Ignite Throwback Night 200 just beginning live on FTN. This is, of course, Thomas Bressi, the leading driver. Then it's going to be Matthew Thunhorse second, Rob Ackley third, and Cody Smith will be fourth. Timothy Johnston rounds out the top 5 as it stands, and we're looking to get back to things yet again here as the official pace car will be ready to take him down to the green flag before lap 35. Estimates are showing if we go at the pace we're going right now, it should be lap 34, but we did get that extension the time prior, so it looks like now the drivers are going to be given a chance to get to know their position on the restart, and then get 1 lap to pace it, and then more laps to race it. Double file, side by side yet again, 1 lap to green. We'll see whether or not this is official, and now time to find out who's got what it takes. Cody Griffin going to be coming out of pit road, flying through. He's 26th right now. Chris Goubeau 25th, and up throughout the field, 5 drivers taking into pit road. Alec Daffin is 22nd right now, and Cal Filarski with some left side damage is in 21st. And back up front, field looks to be set to go. Backstretch remaining until we get it done, but the pace car lights still could change as we look on board with Thomas Bressi right now. Let's find out whether or not that happens. The 24 machine looking to guide the field once again through another restart. This will be his second in command, the first one in the command of Cody Smith. He lost that lead, and it was Matthew Thunhorse who took it. And now as they come through this time by, the field looks prepared. Bressi's going to rev it up just once, and now it looks like the pace car will be down and in, and we'll head back to the second restart of the night at lap 34. Green flag set to fly all over again in the Ignite Throwback Night 200. Thomas Bressi leads us through, and the green flag is out yet again. And now as the field gets back on its way, single file, better start for Cody Smith. Rest of the field still having some separation. If you take a look at the mid-pack here, it looks like every driver going to get off much better. Brian McFerrin going to be with Kyle Brooks. Alec Daffin side by side with Kyle Cooper here. Daffin involved in all 2 cautions tonight so far, so we'll see whether or not that's a reoccurring theme. First one did not seem to be his fault at all, though that was Cody Griffin getting loose and just not having a place to go, and then from there Daffin making some contact thereafter. That's what brought us back to the caution, but overall, so far the drivers have been clean. Just a bit of a hiccup here as we get back on our way. Battle is going to be close to side by side, but nobody having the room to make that lunge just yet. Matthew Thunders especially looking for that room, just has not yet found it. They'll take it down to the turns 1 and 2 yet again. Thunders down to the bottom side of the track. Can't find the ability to go side by side, but he's thinking about it, and he knows that he can try to find a gap right now and execute upon it later. Understanding how the driver in front of you works the track is very important here at Darlington. Perhaps the most crucial aspect of a driver's strategy. If you can understand how someone else goes throughout this track, then you can mimic them and try to understand their changes in momentum, changes when the tire wears, and try to copy these elements to become an even better driver yourself. Now, learning from Thomas Bressi, of course, the field all very well experienced, but right now it looks like the 24 has the advantage that nobody else can copy, and being right behind, maybe there's a chance to learn just a bit and take those lessons and apply them to the rest of the day. Bressy's going to be out in front by 1/4 of a second right now, with Matthew Thunderwitz then second position, and Rob Ackley then in third. Going to be a 5-car, now 6-car bundle. Michael Stroll fading back just a bit though, and he'll find himself with Timothy Johnston and Sean Carmody. Now, but Sean Carmody right now in the 8th spot. He's still looking to get that solid finish to solidify this rookie campaign. He's been full-time with the exception of 1 race at Watkins Glen, and from there on out has been able to put on some stellar performances. The big confusion, though, is can he get to that elusive checkered flag? Daytona, he was leading laps and was up there from the start of the race on, but during the middle portions, he was able to keep himself up there until a big wreck, and damage began to pile on until the point where he could not go any further. 55, of course, going to be very soon in terms of lap marker, 39 laps in, and if we were going for a green flag run, we'd expect it to be about 55 laps long at the longest. That's when we mentioned it. 13 laps on the tires for most of these drivers and some caution laps too, so they could stretch it up to 60 if they please, but the question now might become if they try to split the rest of the race, which might become a thought in the heads of these drivers if we do get a long enough run to hit that 50 lap marker on the stint. Right now, Thomas Bressi not thinking about that. He's thinking more about how to navigate each and every lap that he's in right now. 40 laps through, he's got the advantage, and he's got Matthew Thunhorst still right behind him. Thunhorst has yet to solve the problem right in front of him, which is, how can I get by? Looks like right now, Bressi keeping it as closed as he can. Leads the way, has position, and has the perfect line. Has not lost it, not one moment so far tonight. So from there on out, single file, only a battle side by side can be seen in the back of the field, and the very back that was. Now Daffin going to be single file, but look to be with Kyle Cooper. Looks like now we're looking at Travis McQuistion, your Daytona winner, as he fades back in the 22nd spot. Some trouble for him, from, of course, the remainder of the season so far, has not been able to keep that speed up that we saw early in the going, and getting that win in Daytona, it was huge. Now the question is, how can he capitalize on the rest of the championship hunt and maybe put himself in a better position come the final races of the year. Of course, right now, the bigger picture might not be in the mind of Travis. Just trying to get back up to the pack here as he runs 22nd, losing a bit more time. He's got a few drivers behind him, but not a big buffer in terms of points, so he'd like to pull it back together, but he's still got a ways to go. Forrest Smith now going to be right behind Justin Morton. Alec Daffin going to be fading back while Jacob Fife gets up to the front, and you can see right now, Daffin, Kyle Brooks, Brian McFerrin, Forrest Smith all chasing down Morton and Jacob Fife. Right now, the 84 machine trying to use that bottom side. He takes it down to the apron, touches it, and then gets back on the move, trying to keep some grip on the paint there. But here at Darlington, not much paint to grip to, so maybe that strategy not coming to fruition based on the layout of this circuit. Ford is going to take it down to the bottom side yet again as he sees Jacob Fife now work up high. Fife's going to take it to the top, try to get a run on Chad Mikas, and as they come down to the stripe this time through, Fife not not going to use that momentum, but clearly have a run. Just going to have to hold back for now and hope to use it later. Getting to know how this driver can work. That's Jacob Fife's goal right now. Trying to understand himself, that is, in specific. You got to know how you try to drive around these guys, know what your best moves are to make, know where you might be a bit weaker, so you can work on those areas as well. Every lap is a learning experience for everyone in this, of course, event, no matter if they're in the front of the field, in the back, in the middle, anywhere in between. You've got to be always alert, and especially with the competitive field that we have every week, you cannot think that you can rest on what you know and go from this week to the next. It's always changing. With the track, of course, being Darlington, not a lot carries over from other circuits on the schedule. It's almost entirely on its own and being so unique. These drivers really have to think about it differently if they want any chance of making a good run as they come through to lap number 45 this time by. Now lap 46 going to be on the move now with Thomas Bressi already getting by the stripe. He continues to lead the way and has not lost that top spot to this point. So far has been the best driver on the day. So far, Matthew Thunder's not far behind in second. Cody Smith going to be third with Rob Ackley then fourth. And DJ is now in fifth. That is DJ Stagner. And from there on out, Michael Stroll going to be position number 6. And Sean Carmody is in 7th. And Timothy Johnston, now the first man off of the leading battle. He is in 8th and finds himself in the middle of that first pack and the second, which Alan Dobbs leads in the final single-digit spot. Dobbs in 9th and Don Stevenson then in 10th. Right now, it's all calm throughout the track, knowing these drivers cannot make many moves on the circuit. They're going to have to think about strategic decisions as the race continues to pan out this way. 21 laps on the stint for a majority of these drivers. Some drivers choose to use a 15-lap stint, but that is far from the majority. So most of these guys understanding that you don't want to waste your tire. Some drivers choosing to come down for a back-to-back stop, hoping for a long run. But so far, Thomas Bressi's tires have been the best of the best, even if they're a bit older than some. 22 laps and still kicking strong. That time by 0.2 of a second quicker than Matthew Thunderst. However, it was Cody Smith quicker than the both of them. He was with a 31.5 that time by, as opposed to a 31.6 for Bressi and a 31.7 for Matthew Thunderst. So maybe for Cody Smith, he's indeed the quickest man in this lead battle and might be able to make it by Thunderst and try to go chasing down Thomas Bressi for his victory, first of the season, as we're 5 races in to the championship for the 2023 B title. Representing Next Level Racing, the overall prize for the Ignite Series, not only for this season but for the past season, will be a sim rig. The overall points will be calculated over 2023 in its entirety, and the winner of the overall points championship gets the grand prize, a sim rig worth $2,000 courtesy of Next Level Racing. Now, Cody Smith, one of the guys who are still eligible, but he's got to go on a tear if he really wants to seal the deal. Right now, of course, 50 laps in, maybe this could be the night to get that win and solidify himself for this season and trying to keep that momentum going for the rest of it. Down low, Rob Ackley going to work on DJ Stagner. DJ's going to go down low and have that momentum just enough to make it past, and it looks like a classic switchover move as Michael Stroll is going to go down to the bottom side as well. Nice and smooth for the Stroll machine as he takes it quickly into position number 5. Now Sean Carmody going to be side by side with Ackley too. Sean's going to have to let go for at least a brief moment here, and he knows he does not want to, but it looks like for that time, not going to happen. He'll have to let Timothy Johnston get a shot. Johnston takes it deep to the bottom side. No dice that time through, and the 28 machine will lie back as the field comes by to the start-finish line all over again. Bressi leads by 1 second now over Cody Smith, who's in third, and 1 second still over Matthew Thunderst, who is in second. That's how close the rest of the pack is. Looks like Bressi checking out and keeping himself far ahead of the field, knowing tonight might be his to get another victory on the tour. Got it done at Watkins Glen. Already has 1 win in the books, but looking for a second. Last season, in the regular season, one of the most competitive drivers Thomas Bressi was, came second to Matthew Thunderst, and now as those top 2 find themselves first and second yet again, it looks like Thunderst is still chasing his first win this season, but Bressi looking to put himself in the crooked numbers and get his second within the first 5 races. and with much control out in front, putting it into cruise right now for the number 24. As you can see, track conditions are beginning to change. Sun is no longer shining across the track, at least for the most part, and very minor shadows going to be cast as they come by the front straightaway yet again. Timothy Johnston going to take you down to the bottom side for a bit of side-by-side motion, but Sean Carmody is going to remain up high, use that momentum to try to clear the number 28 machine. As he gets that speed off the corner, it's just enough to get by, and looks like Johnston will have to settle for the 8th spot, at least for the time being, and Sean Carmody gets himself back up in his 7th. Nice and smooth movement up in front. As you can see, Don Stevenson now looking for the single digits. He's in 10th right now, looking for 9th on Alan Dobbs, and Dobbs being right there is an easy target if Don were to get anything more out of that car. You see now that Chad Mikus and Jacob Pfeiffer going at it too, but Mike is going to take it deeper into the first 2 corners, giving him just enough room to skate by Jacob Pfeiffer and give Justin Morton a chance to claw back on 36. It's a back and forth game right now as they enter the final laps of the first half. Fife's going to find himself now with some pressure from Justin Morton, and looks like Chad Mike is going to have a bit more time to get away. But so far, so smooth up in front as the battles persist. 55 laps in, going on 56 of 146. And a bit of wall scraping there for Sean Carmody. He's going to fade back quite a few positions on just one move. Not good at all for that number 40 as he fades back a bit further into the pack. Now Mikus, Fife, Morton all looking for him, and this will take him from inside the top 10 firmly now to outside of the top dozen if Morton has his way. Justin Morton can have a good chance of getting around, but no, Sean Carmody puts the pedal back down and gets himself in the fight with Jacob Fife, so all hope is not lost. Despite a major slip-up, Justin Morton barely going to be able to have a shot down low, and they'll stay side by side with a wiggle from Morton, now giving a shot to Carmody to chase back down the number 36 of Jacob Fife. Nice and smooth for the number 40 to recover from that mistake, and now up in front, one driver going to be down on the apron, and that looked to be number 3 of Cody Griffin. Griffin, the only driver 1 lap down as it stands, running that low side lane. The drivers have the racing groove. Here at Darlington, you cannot get on that racing groove as a lap machine and expect not to be caught up in some trouble. It's too small of a racing line to use for anything else but the main drivers. Right now, Griffin trying to find a spot to slot back in and maybe give himself a chance to race once again with some competition. As he comes off the back straightaway, you'll see Gael Brooks gets a very loose, and it looks like the number 71 machine is going to save it, but after a huge wiggle, my oh my, Gael Brooks almost in trouble. Luckily keeps it together, and the field will stay as is. Nice move there for the 71 machine, going all the way down low, locking it back down and getting back on the track. That's what you gotta do in a situation like that, to put it all back together. That's exactly what had to be done, and Gael Brooks executes fantastically to put himself back in position number 17. That's the difference between a wreck and a caution, and keeping yourself in the game for laps and laps to come. 59 laps in of 146. You do not want to find yourself outside of contention so early. Even if you're not up in front right now, doesn't mean that can't change, and it most certainly can. That's the way it always goes here in iRacing. You've got a shot until the very end, as it is with most races. Even though Thomas Bresci has a dominant margin right now, over 1.5 seconds, Cody Smith, DJ Stagner, Michael Stroll, these drivers who are all chasing him down, they still have a chance. Might not be something you see right now, but as the night goes on, if Bresci were to make a mistake on pit road, maybe some cautions, bunch the pack back up, something of the sort, it could all come back down to this number 18, and the drivers who chase him down, they're all still looking for an opportunity and don't think for a second that they forgot what's at stake here. They want a victory as much as the next man, and right now for DJ Stagner, Michael Stroll, both drivers who have not yet gotten it done this season, they love to return to victory lane for 2 consecutive. Michael Stroll, multi-time winner last season, and it was DJ Stagner who came through for 1 when it counted. It was a big win at Bristol, pedestal, which carried him all the way deep into the playoffs, and from there, he was able to become the Ignite Series' very first champion. The number 64 has been on a tear as of recent on FTN, dominating the Highline Racing League and their Premier Series. He's only been as low as the second position at the end of a race so far in the title hunt. That's how good he's been, and he's looking to keep that momentum up here with these Xfinity Series machines. They're a bit better known, a bit lower horsepower, so a bit easier to drive all the same, but despite these minute differences, they are all based on the same foundation. So Stagner using the fundamentals of stock car racing and just elaborating on them even more to find himself once again in firm contention for a top 3, if not a win, when all goes well at the end of the race. And looking further back throughout the pack here, one big battle going to be between Justin Morton right now, and it's going to be, of course, a bit of trouble now. Looks like it's going to be 2 drivers on the apron. Brandon Bernhardt, Boomer Logan barely escape back up the track as we try to look for a battle. One is still going between these two. Logan gets by, Brandon Bernhardt not so much, and it looks like Cody Griffin gets loose. And the back of the field as we take a look at it, in a bit of trouble, and Cody Griffin is in trouble indeed. Goes down to the apron, gets it straight, not much comes of it, but now he's going to find himself even further off the pack and goes down one more lap yet again. It looks like now Thomas Bresci going to be in close proximity to that number 3. He's one lap down to the rest of the field now, Cody Griffin is, and it's a big trouble to be in as he finds himself very far off of the next driver. Doesn't lose it entirely, does not have a caution come out, but Cody Griffin in no man's land, one lap down, backside damage, and he's in huge trouble going into the rest of the night. If he wants an opportunity, he is loose right now and still trying to fight the car, but not much is coming of it, and it looks like he's barely able to keep it steady time after time. These laps are becoming even more meticulous for Cody as he takes it through 3 and 4, especially. He looks out of control, just lucky to keep it going as Stagner comes down to pit road 40 laps in, and DJ is going to bring Jacob 5. Some early drivers coming to the pit road at 66 laps in out of 146. We've got our first competitive pit stops of the day. So it looks like right now 55 laps is going to be a stretch if these drivers can make it. 2 men are in. It looks like it's going to be Stagner and Jacob Fife, and the rest of the field going to follow in their footsteps now. As the field comes by, it's going to be now 66 coming to 67, and as we got pit cycles all the way, how's about we ride on board for one lap with your race leader, Thomas Bresci, and see what's going on inside the car. And as we take that ride on board here with Thomas Bresci, you can hear how far off the pedal he is through the corners, especially through turns 1 and 2. He looked to be almost entirely off of the lab pedal there and gets back onto this doing the straightaways are in effect, but definitely a different way to drive it later in the run. That time by was a 32.402, which is about 2 seconds slower than his quickest lap on the day, a 30.485. Definitely times are changing, and 69 laps in, even with that nice margin up in front, Thomas Bresci in some trouble here and will have to come down to pit road very, very soon. Stagner and Fife opt to do it early. Now the question is, what will the rest of the field do, as they have not yet come through at this moment. Only 2 drivers opting to make competitive pit stops at this point. So far, that looks to be the way it is, and Chad Mike is going to be in the 8th spot. He's just behind a big battle between Stevenson, Dobbs, and Matthew Thunhorst. And it looks like for Matthew Thunhorst losing more and more time from the start of this race, not where he'd want to be at all, but all of a sudden he's going to find even more trouble. It's now going to be Alan Dobbs trying to take it down to the bottom groove. Dobbs has that chance. He'll take it right down low and sail to the bottom side. And Don Stevenson eyeing his prey as well, trying to take down the number 8 at the same time. He'll go down to the bottom side of the track, now has a chance to work it low, and just like that, Don Stevenson makes another move. He'll try to bring Chad Chad Michelson, and it is evident now that Matthew Thunhorst is in trouble. That time by, of all your drivers inside of the top 20, only one driver ran a slower lap. That was Chris Cabot, and Thunhorst is one of the closest drivers to running a 32. He just did a 33 now, 33.347 second lap, especially slow, and he's bringing the drivers around him down at the same time. Justin Morton gaining so much speed, gets in the wall, and has to back it off as well. Now, with Matthew Thunhorst firmly inside the middle of this group, the question is how they can dispose of him and keep on going. It is clear he is much slower than the rest of these drivers, but nothing much they can do right now as they make it around to yet another lap. 72 laps in, and the battle in the middle of the field is getting closer and closer, with some former leaders fading back fast. And a bit of a wiggle there for one driver. That's going to be Alan Dobbs. Dobbs is now in 5th. Almost wiggled down to where Cody Griffin is, and Griffin now going to go 2 laps down indeed, fading back even further. Not the night for Cody Griffin, and it looks like once again he's going to find himself further off of the pace. He's now going to be 2 laps down, going back into pit road, and might be calling it quits tonight, already so far behind on pace. And now he's back in pit road yet again. 73 laps in out of 146, and down the bowling backstretch, another driver comes down to pit road. That will be Kyle Cooper, and now Cooper's the third man to come in on a pit road as Bressie will take it around to the stripe to make it lap 74 and bring us past the halfway marker. 74 laps in out of 146. It is only a total now of 73 laps to go, and we've got Thomas Bressie leading by 2 seconds over Michael Stroll, Timothy Johnston to round out your podium, and then from there, Cody Smith in the 4th spot. And Cody Smith tonight representing NextLevelRacing.com, and as always on FTN, a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League. And for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best, be sure to visit NextLevelRacing.com for more information about how the highest quality sim racing products since 2009. Cody Smith for Next Level Racing comes down to pit road in the fight for a $2,000 sim rig, courtesy of Next Level Racing themselves. If you want to find out more about Next Level Racing's line of products, visit NextLevelRacing.com after tonight's broadcast, and we'll bring you your first promotional break of the night, courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing. Now it's 70 laps remaining on the board. Thomas Bressie's the man who leads the way as we've crossed the halfway point here in the Ignite Throwback Night 200. This has been a stellar show for the Lady in Black, and so far, Thomas Bressie may have just tamed the track they said was too tough to do so. He's got it out in front with over 100 laps just to get to the past halfway marker. Of course, that includes practice and qualifying, so let's be a bit more realistic. 78 laps in the race so far at a 146, and with 69 laps to go, it's been a very nice performance so far for Bressie as we take it to yet another lap. Pit cycle is on the way. Some drivers have just come down to pit road, and 55 laps seems to be the marker where the leaders will come down and in. If you're joining us for the first time tonight live on FTN, great to have you aboard. I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Great to be alongside you all once again as the Ignite series comes back to action with a fantastic show. These drivers are putting on a great performance at a very very tough track. Don't let how these guys are running deceive you. This is not an easy circuit to master, not an easy circuit to run around, even at a slow pace. It will come back to bite you if you make one small mistake, and so far when we have seen some mistakes earlier in the going, since then we've been nice and smooth, and now bringing it home is the biggest goal now for Thomas Bressi, as you see DJ Stagner now in his rearview mirror. Alan Dobbs comes down to pit road 53 laps in, and he's going to be the next man down and through. The driver of the number 05 takes it through in the 11th position and will make his way in, and not too long after we're expecting the rest of the top 10 as they come through lap after lap. Looking back up in front, you'll see Jacob Fife and DJ Stagner both make it by Bressi. The new tires are so much quicker, it's unbelievable the difference, and right now Bressi is feeling it. Looking at the drivers he was competing with fly away like it was nothing, almost like Bressi was all night long since this point. It looks like now he's seeing other drivers take that sort of responsibility, and they're using their new tires up a bit earlier to try to make up some time and grab that race lead for the all-dominant number 24, who's been up in front for the good majority of the day. Kyle Cooper skates by on the bottom side. Bit of a risky pass, but thankfully nothing comes of it, and now it's going to be another driver coming to pit road. Again, Alan Dobbs, one lap down. He's now on the way. Looks like Cody Griffin is still on pit road himself. About 65 laps remaining. Still many drivers required to get down to pit road, and drivers are now trying to stretch it past the 55 lap mark, as it looks like now your leaders have taken it to lap number 56, save for Alec Daffin. Daffin is now at lap number 50 on his run, and it looks like he's doing things a bit different, and he is clearly much quicker with a slightly quicker set of tire on him. It looks like despite the fact Chad Mikas flies by, he'll be like that to Matthew Thunderst and Justin Morton, who are just ahead. That time by, it looks like Daffin was about 0.3 of a second quicker than both Morton and Thunderst, and almost a second faster than Justin Morton in specific. So Daffin is a rocket ship right now, and he's playing the strategy game very well, just enough to keep himself in contention for a top 5. Not expected early with some trouble with the first 2 cautions, but all of a sudden, it looks like he's coming back into the right state of mind, recentering, refocusing, and all of a sudden, Daffin is there and might have a chance to battle with the best of them as the night continues to wind down. And that is the beauty of racing up in front at Darlington. Not always about the raw pace, not always about where you are before on the track. Sometimes pit strategy can change everything. Some iconic finishes birthed from pit road as Cal Filarski's down there. The incredible performance of course, Ricky Craven 20 years ago. If it were not for some savvy strategy calls, that number 32 machine, and likewise Dave Blaney not too far behind Kurt Busch, wouldn't be anywhere near the number 97, and they would not have given us a chance to see an incredible fight to the finish until the last straightaway. It's not always about that raw pace, and especially now with the Integrity Ignite series not having any stage breaks, nothing interrupts the flow of the racing besides a caution for a cause. If there's no reason, no need to stop racing. That's the mentality here anyway, and so far these drivers have given us a good reason to believe that's exactly the way they should be treated. 62 laps to go, going on a 61. Bressi still has that advantage and will take it deep into his run. He's 60 laps in, and the rest of the field still sees over 10 drivers who have gone upwards of 55 laps on their pit cycle. So a lot of guys opting to risk it right now. Not many opting to come in early. A few drivers have, of course, say drivers such as DJ Stagner, Jacob Fife, Michael Stroll, Rob Ackley, and the like, but so far, even the guys who are front-running to this point have opted not to come in, but now quite a few do. Funhorst is going to come in with Don Stevenson. Both drivers make it into the same time, and another batch is through, and just like that, they're trying to split this segment. 60 laps on this run with 60 laps to go. In addition, Gael Brooks will make it in this time by, and he will come in right behind the pair that you see just ahead. And it looks like Boomer Logan now going to opt to make it down to pit road as well. Boomer Logan's through, and Thomas Bressi is now making it in. Number 24 machine finds himself now to the bottom side of pit road, and as the field continues to fly by, you will see him momentarily. This is how many drivers are passing through as we now get a view on that number 24. Your former race leader comes to the bottom of pit road and now looks to find his stall to get another good pit stop in. Fastest time of the night so far looks to go to Jacob Fife with a 47.6. That is the time to beat in a pit stall. Let's see whether or not Bressie can beat it. Timothy Johnston comes in this time by. His time to beat beforehand was a 47.8. He'll need to replicate that and then some if he wants to hold or gain any position. Brian McFerrin opts to come at the same time as well, with now Justin Morton and Alec Daffin holding the torch and leading the way. Just like that is going to be Justin Morton, your overall race leader, and he finds himself up at the front of the pack with 58 laps remaining. How about this number 9 machine? Justin Morton finds himself on top, but it looks like not for much longer. He'll take it down to the bottom side, and he will leave Alec Daffin to lead. The number 9 is in, the number 48 is out. Daffin leads. He just let Thomas Bressie go by, and Bressie's now going to be on hot pursuit of the drivers who are now scored ahead of him. Bressie going to be 16th as it stands, far behind your overall pit cycle leader of DJ Stagner. The gap as it stands is 18 seconds between Stagner and Thomas Bressie. 18 seconds to regain over 57 laps, and that might seem insurmountable. And in a normal circumstance, it would be. But here at Darlington, those tires will wear away fast. And already looks like it's going to be Stagner, one of the slower drivers on the track, which will give maybe an opportunity for the newer tires to catch before the pit cycle is said and done. Daffin going to come down to pit road this time by. Alec is in. And now it will be the number 64 of DJ Stagner leading them to the line. DJ Stagner, your new race leader, takes to the lap number 91 and finds himself up ahead for Swamp Motorsports, and the Rainbow Warrior number 64 is to the point for the first time tonight. Besties look so far, and it looks like now he's got a big bubble compared to Jacob Fife and Michael Stroll. He's 1 second ahead of Jacob Fife and nearly 4 flat seconds ahead of Michael Stroll. Stroll finds himself battling now with lap machinery such as Travis McQuistion and Casey Shue. So the leaders who are still out there are mired in the pack. Now, it's a big gamble of coming early and trying to go the rest of the way is going to be a very, very tough task. These drivers knew what they were up for when they got down to pit road, and they know there's still 55 laps left. But for these drivers who are up in the top 5 right now, they have spent a minimum of 16 racing laps on the track with this set, a maximum of 25 to this point. So clearly quite a lot of the stint has already been taken away, which means they'll have to come down to pit road at least one more time if there's any opportunity to win. They're going to need a miracle in strategy, because it looks like right now they're clearly off cycle compared to the rest of the pack. However, if you're a driver like Forrest Smith, maybe there's a chance. If you're a driver like Alan Dobbs, it's an outside shot. Thomas Bressie looks to be the first driver secure and making it all the way to the very end on the strategy he is currently running. Now, he only has himself a total of 6 laps right now in his stint, and it's actually going to be 5 right now coming to lap number 6 in specific. So he's got much less time on the tires compared to the rest of his contemporaries up in front, and he's already up to the 9th position and finds himself 12 seconds away. The insurmountable 18, he's already made it a third of the way through, so maybe there is hope and a light at the end of the tunnel as Bressie, clawing in lap after lap, knows there's still a chance to win his second race of the season. Stagner getting passed that time by Shaw Racing's Alec Daffin. Daffin's gonna fly by and put himself back in the lead, lap 18th and the last man in it. And now Stagner showing signs of decreasing pace, even if he's been the leader for quite a long while here. And even though he has a very big bubble to the guys who are trying to chase him down, it's not a good spot to be in here. 12 seconds away, the fastest driver on the track. And some drivers, such as, of course, guys like Alan Dobbs, risking it just a bit. Maybe a guy like Sean Carmody with some less track time. These guys could still chase you down if you're really unlucky, as Kyle Cooper's going to get very wiggly that time by. Nice save there from Kyle Cooper. That could have gone much, much worse, but thankfully some very experienced driving, working with that finesse in the car, and he'll keep his Ford Mustang out of harm's way. That's a very veteran, disciplined move from the number 73 machine, and that will keep us underway in a long green flag cycle here from Darlington. And it's very commendable to see these drivers avoiding a wreck even if they're not in the best of situations. Now, we've seen in iRacing before, especially in the NASCAR community, there is some controversy sometimes with drivers trying to manipulate races to go their way. Well, here, of course, not only is that going to be punishable according to the rules of this league, but also it comes out of respect. Right now, this race has been one of respect. Chaos has not been seen, only 2 cautions to this point, and with 50 laps to go, there's no reason to assume we cannot go much longer, keeping it under green. It's been a very good race in terms of managing pace, working with other drivers, and understanding what needs to be done as a group and also as the individuals. So really, not much to say besides clean and respectful driving so far. And with 49 laps to go, Stagner washes up just a bit. Nothing major, but maybe some signs of concern. He's got 32 laps on this stint. By far, out of every other driver, that is clearly the longest. And right now, the only other driver who might be comparable is Jacob Fife, who just fell back in a 4th. Cody Smith, Michael Stroll, they are chasing and they are quicker than Stagner. Now 98 laps in, out of a total of 146 onto 99. Let's take a lap on board with Michael Stroll as he chases down your current race leader. And in just 1 lap's time, you can see how much of a difference there is. 0.3 of a second automatically gained back in just 1 circuit. Michael Stroll is clearly the quickest man in this top 3, and he looks poised to become the race leader within the next 5 laps, if not even sooner. That is how quick Michael Stroll is, and he is absolutely tearing down the field, becoming quicker and quicker as the laps wind down. 47 laps to go this time by, heading now to lap number 101. Stroll is getting even closer to that top spot, exactly where he wants to be. Now the question is going to be whether or not he can get it quickly and steal it away to try to run for the rest of this race. Still 46 laps to go, and Michael Stroll has been on his tire run for a total of 26 laps, so it's very unlikely that he'll find himself go to the end of the race, but getting those bonus points for leading the way is great nonetheless. Working it down to the bottom side, it's the number 38 of Michael Stroll, your new race leader, as he takes it to the point. For the first time tonight, Michael Stroll is out in front. And now the battle of the aging tires is coming into play. Michael Stroll is quite worn out, and so is Stagner too. They're the top 2 with Cody Smith then 3rd, and Jacob 4th is now, of course, that Fife machine putting itself just outside of the podium with Chad Mike is chasing. Now, looks like Jacob Fife's tires are absolutely shot. That time by, he was 1/10 of a second slower than Stagner and almost half a second slower than Michael Stroll. So clearly, some troubles in keeping pace right now as Thomas Bressi finds himself only 3 seconds away from the leader and now works on not only Jacob Fife, but Chad Mikus. Taking a look on board with a virtual reality headset, Thomas Bressi is now in the thick of the fight for the top 5, and he has not need to wait for pit road. Now he's the man trying to put it down lap after lap. He is in no sign to stopping, and all of a sudden, Thomas Bressi is the man on the move. Looking to the high side there on Chad Mikus. You saw the pass in his headset. He's the man on top of yet another spot. He will be now in 4th, 3.5 seconds to gain, and that time by, he was indeed slower than Michael Stroll, but that was an anomaly. And now he's looking to get back on the move to become even quicker and chase down the rest of the field ahead. It's Cody Smith right now about 1/10 of a second up on DJ Stagner, and now these guys going back and forth just ahead will give Bressi the chance to get even closer and put himself in a position to gain the lead without any rough luck. 42 laps to go this time by, and Thomas Bressi is chasing. DJ Stagner's fading back just a bit more, and as you can see, these 2 drivers in DJ Stagner indeed and Cody Smith are going back and forth. Now it's going to be Smith trying to go up to the high side on the going back straightaway, and it's going to be done for Stagner. He'll take it down to the bottom side to split the rest of this race. He's coming through this time by. DJ Stagner works his way in and finds himself on pit road. The most competitive stop of the stint. He'll take Jacob Fife right there with him. And all of a sudden, this will promote Michael Stroll. Of course, he's not going anywhere, but the promotion is for Cody Smith. Number 18 machine now finds himself in second and will have to fend off Thomas Bressi for himself. And with no help out there, Cody Smith alone, 106 laps in. Take a look off the rear view mirror as he tries to fend off the 24. Look at how quick Thomas Bressi is closing in. And especially during the corners, it is evident how much faster that Thomas Bressi gets through each and every exit. He's going to be able to put a bit more tire down on the track, has so much more grip, and as a result, he's able to push it a bit further lap after lap, gaining more time, and has cut the gap in half in just one lap alone. Another driver comes down to pit road. That'll be Sean Carmody, and 108 laps in, Carmody comes through, and the number 40 machine makes his way in position number 10. Michael Stroll leads the way down the Boeing back straightaway. He sees his adversaries right behind him. Kyle Cooper, the only buffer left. He'll take it down low and let those two drivers by. So it looks like now Michael Stroll in some trouble as he'll come around with 38 laps to go. The 38 is leading, and Thomas Bressi's now in the second spot. Lap 109 here on FTN, and we'd once again like to thank Tango Paints for their continued support on FTN. Lap 109 provided by Tango Paints and Toll Owen. Once again, for the best iRacing liveries and paint schemes on the market to up your sim racing game and represent your driving identity, be sure to message Tango Paints on Twitter. Prices start at $50 for every paint scheme, highest quality at a price you cannot beat. Visit Tango Paints on Twitter for more information, and we thank them once again for becoming the exclusive graphic design partner of FTN. One more time, with 37 laps to go, we're going to take a quick look at the Tango Paints trailer to find out if you're in need of a Tango paint today. And coming back now with a total of 36 laps remaining, it is still going to be led by Michael Stroll. But take a look how close now Thomas Bressi is to that back bumper. Turning on the virtual reality headset to find out what's going on. Thomas Bressi, the man on the mission, now is going to look up high and finds himself even closer to gaining the race lead. This is the best that Thomas Bressi looked all night long and finds himself on the back bumper. And he's going to go down to the inside line to take the pass. Bressi looks low, gets it immediately. Michael Stroll will concede, and just like that, new race leader, number 24, is out in front, and Michael Stroll fades back in a second. Making some room, Thomas Bressi goes the distance and finds himself out in front yet again. New race leader, 24 machine, it's Thomas Bressi, and he takes it to the point in his Exalta Camaro. What a night for Bressi so far. He is on the move and finds himself now leading the way with 35 going to 34 laps to go. And for Thomas Bressi, tonight has been a dream ever since he got the race lead earlier in the going. He's been able to keep himself inside the top 5, and he's been practically the fastest guy on pace ever since that point, and he still is right now. 34 laps to go. He is clearly quicker than the remainder of the field, and it continues to show with how much a gap he's already built on Michael Stroll and Cody Smith. As it stands, he's already 0.6 of a second up on Michael Stroll and finds himself a total of now 3 seconds up on Timothy Johnston. Johnston is now going to find himself in the 3rd spot, and it looks like Timothy might be able to come home for his first podium of the season. The patriotic design has been doing great so far, and once again, Timothy Johnston making the most of opportunities and keeping that run silent. He's now there in the look for another great run. This could be his best finish of his career. Looking for that runner-up position of Michael Stroll will give it away. Stroll is in trouble right now, hardly holding on against lap machines like Boomer Logan. He'll be left by Logan, of course, but now it looks like it's going to be Johnston, Stagner, all chasing, and just like that, it's going to be even harder for Michael Stroll to keep himself in this spot. That time by 0.2 of a second slower he was than Timothy Johnston, and with DJ Stagner coming by even more to work against, and looks like Michael Stroll's night not going to end the way he'd like, as he still has to come down to pit road at least once more. For Thomas Bressie, Timothy Johnston, Matthew Thunhorse, Don Stevenson, and Justin Morton, it is guaranteed they'll all not have to make a pit stop to get to the end of the race. Alan Dobbs is a risk. He could, but he'd have to stretch it extremely to the point where it might be better just to come down to pit road. That remains to be seen. However, there are several drivers who know right now they do not have to go down to pit road if they want to finish this race on top. Thomas Bressie might just be one of which, and I think that's the way it's going to go. No reason for him to come down to pit road. He is the fastest man on the lead lap, and he's been that way all throughout. 31 laps to go, gone on 30. The Ignite Throwback Night 200 has all come down to this final run, and after a series of pit stops, Thomas Bressie clawed back down an 18-second gap under green, and now finds himself the leader by a substantial margin. Nobody even close right now, and the battles are becoming a bit calmer all across the track. Johnston chasing down Michael Stroll, trying to put himself in second, now finds himself within 0.3 of a second, looking to get that opportunity as they come to line yet again. And with 29 laps to go, we're going to give you a rundown of your top 10 as it stands. It looks to be Thomas Bressie, your race leader, Michael Stroll in second, and Timothy Johnston is in third. Matthew Thunhorse is going to be position number 4. Fifth will be Don Stevenson, and sixth is Justin Morton, with Alan Dobbs 7th and Alec Daffin now in 8th. Ninth will be held by Brian McFerrin, and 10th is Travis McQuistion, as the number 28 machine of Timothy Johnston makes it by and now finds himself up in front of the second spot. Nice move for Johnston, securing another great pass, and now the USA machine is up into the second spot, 3 seconds away from the lead, and might just have a chance. He does have slightly newer tire, but does not look to be quick enough to gain it back to Bressie. He's about the second quickest man on the track right now, save for your race leader, and finds himself fittingly the second spot on the circuit. With 28 laps to remain, he is there in second, with Michael Stroll now fading back to Matthew Thunhorse, and it looks like more time to be lost for this number 38 machine. Cody Smith going to be now 22nd on the board, and with 27 laps to go, we'll bring you your second next level promotional break of the day. That's Next Level Racing, and it's been a next level drive so far for all of these machines. 2 cautions, and since then, we've seen an awful lot of green flag racing to keep us busy. Cody Smith, representing Next Level Racing, is the defending Integrity Racing League champion, and looking to get it done for a $2,000 grand prize courtesy of Next Level Racing, meant for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best quality since 2009, and we'll be right back after our second promotional message, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. And as we return with 25 laps to go, Next Level Racing, once again, high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. We'll bring it back to the action now, live on FTN, and it's going to show you that there's only 24 laps left on the track, and Thomas Bressie has run himself a clinic yet again, looking for his second win on the season. The 24 is out in front with 24 laps to go, and looks to seal the deal on another tremendous outing outing here in Darlington, and he's looking to get it done at the track too tough to tame. Coming across the stripe once more, the 24 will take it with 24 on a 23 laps to go, and he's got himself now a 3-second advantage over Timothy Johnston, 6 seconds up on Michael Stroll and Matthew Thornhorst, and a total of 9 seconds up on 6th place Justin Morton. As always, an FTN from 23 laps to go down to 22. We'll thank our incredible camera partner at TrackCams22.com, the best camera platform on the iRacing market, and bring you a Crank It Up with 22 laps left on the night. Let's crank it up courtesy of TrackCams22.com and get loud here from the Lady in Black. And now it's 17 laps remaining. Thomas Bresci looking to put the icing on the cake and finish off what's been a dominant performance here from the Darlington Raceway. Out in front with 17 laps remaining, he finds himself there only now with a 1-second gap. Timothy Johnston is getting much quicker, and it looks like now the number 28 machine might just have a chance to really make a run for it here, with some troubles for Bresci involving lap machines. You saw him there with Rob Ackley early in the going. He might just have some damage we're not aware of, because now it looks like Johnston is clearly the quickest man on the order, and it could be the number 24 losing all that he's worked for with only 16 laps left on the day. 16 laps to hold off a 1-second race lead, and Johnston's got to make it by Cal Filarski here. Gets a bit loose off corner. That will give Bresci just a bit more, but is that enough to hold off to the end of the night? Well, let's find out. The final stint is clearly underway here, and with 15 laps to go, Thomas Thomas Bressie finds himself leading the way with Timothy Johnston then second, Matthew Thunhorse third, Michael Stroll fourth, and Don Stevenson then in fifth. Top five separated by 7 seconds here, and it looks like all those who are up in front right now will not be coming down to pit road. This is the battle between those who are fighting for 7th. Alec Daffin has it and Brian McFerrin wants it, but so far it looks like not much has come of either of them. Staying single file, not many major movements, as Kyle Cooper now going to be in a bit of trouble. He has more damage and it looks like he gets out of the way of the lead lappers as a result. 9/10 of a second separate Bressie and Johnston that time by. Looks to be only a difference between 7/100ths of a second there, so not as big as it was before. Maybe now there's reason to believe there's still a chance here for Thomas as he comes across the stripe yet again. It looked like there was a lot of trouble that time through, but with 13 to go, now it looks to be even more so. Every lap that Bressie can get by without losing more time, he might just have an even better shot, but look at Johnston. He's much quicker now. Timothy Johnston trying to take away the dominance that we've seen all night long, and it looks like he's got the best shot to do so out of anyone. Taking it down to the bottom side all over again. There goes Timothy Johnston. Gets passed by Cody Smith, and that will send him back all the same. Back and forth battle between your top two drivers, and we're going to keep the full focus uninterrupted on FTN. How about this? Let's go Fireball Talks nonstop and bring not only our perspective from the main feed, but the camera at the same time. Let's take it FTN nonstop here and find out what exactly is going on, as we are going to take a look right now, looking at our iRacing systems. Not seeing much of iRacing, so we're going to recalibrate that. Now, there you can see, there's a look at the main feed and the camera at the same time. Thomas Bressie is the man we are keeping an eye on up in front. The 24 finds himself with the race lead, but right now looks like he's losing more time. Cody Smith going to get to him that time through even more so, and just like that, it might become even more troublesome as Bressie finds pressure from the lappers. That time through, Cody Smith is clearly quicker than both of your top two guys, but it looks like even still, Timothy Johnston getting a chance to get closer. 2/10 of a second between your top two drivers as it stands with 11 laps to go. Now looking to make it 10. 10 laps remaining from the lady in black, and this is what it all comes down to. Bressie and Johnston head to head, nothing separating them, and you can see Bressie right there. The rear view is going to show you the 28 machine of Johnston is just about there already. Looking for the front end perspective of Timothy Johnston though, he's still got a lot of work to do from this point of view, and he's got a lot of time to put down that pressure. He's on offense, Bressie is on defense, so he's got the chance to lay down the law, sort of, and try to make it around this number 24 machine for his first win of the season. Brand new number, brand new paint scheme, and it looks like tonight Timothy Johnston showing off that he's still got what it takes to fight for a race win, and he's looked good to this point, but it looks like there's still a ways to go. 9 laps left. Bressie gets loose once again and still has the race lead as Johnston relaxes into the corner and will try to make it a different way around. He's got newer tires, and even though they're 1 lap older, now it's beginning to show. They'll come across the line yet again with Bressie still leading. He'll try to take it down low to keep the defense on, and that's going to give Johnston enough time to back up the run and go for it all over again. And the caution is out. Are you kidding me? We're going to go late into this one with a final few laps overtime, and what looked to be a final duel between two of the best will now go into chaos. My oh my, now we're in for quite the treat. Yellow flag will fall, and it looks to be involving Cody Smith at the back of the pack, or does it? Now we'll find out who in specific is the reason for this caution. And trying to get a word here on what caused the yellow flag. It looked to be one of the most methodical battles we'd seen all season long, and it comes to a close on that note. And it looks like Alan Dobbs gets involved in this one, so now we got a read on what happened. Let's take a look back and find out more in depth. What a long run that was, and look, it would take us to the finish. That's no longer the case. Alan Dobbs is there in the middle of the field, gets in the wall, and similarly to Cody Griffin, goes down low, tries to come back up, up, then hits Casey Shue and Travis McChristian and takes them both down the track, which will bring out the yellow flag with 7 laps remaining. We'll cut back to the live feed immediately here because this is now time for some pit strategy as the field is led down a pit road. This time through, Thomas Bressi going to take the remainder of the pack down and in. Now time to find out what they've got left. Looks like most drivers have at least one more set in their back pocket, and it's now time to use them. It is better to use them now than not to use them at all. 6 laps remaining this time by. Estimates show we'll have a 3-lap dash to the finish of this race. And now as the drivers come through, time to find out who will find their way to the top spot on this restart. Bressi going to be on the move very soon. He's already got himself 2 tires, now looking for 4. It's going to be 4 tires and a splash to get to the end, and Bressi's the first man out in the number 24, able to take the lead all over again. Johnston now in second, Thunhorse is in third, and then from there you're going to see Michael Stroll in fourth. Don Stevenson is going to be in fifth, and it'll be then Justin Morton, position number 6. The sun is setting here in Darlington, and now time to find out who can put this race to bed. And it looks like Justin Morton with a penalty will find himself to the back of the field. End of line penalty for Justin Morton, speeding on pit road, and that's going to cost him a shot at a top 5 finish. Morton back of the field, going to park it and put himself in the rear of the pack. Number 9 machine going to end up rolling behind Gael Brooks, and now the number 9 is back on the move. Justin Morton, black flag, and he will find himself in the back of this group with 6 laps to go. And you cannot afford to lose all that track position just like that. Now he's going to get back on the way here, but Thomas Bressi and Timothy Johnston are still where they were before, up in front. There's still quite a few lap machines that remain at the head of the field right now, but that's not the way it's expected to stay. So with all this said and done, we'll bring it back to your multi-view. Thomas Bressi is your race leader, finding himself out in front now, just ahead of Timothy Johnston. That's the way it stays, and those two have a chance to come through and make it happen yet again. Taking it back with our multi-feed, you'll see the main feed going to be the left side of your screen. The right side will show your camera, and the Exalta Chevrolet is still there in the picture. Top 2 drivers as it was before, and now they're looking to finish their battle as if it was the very beginning. Now as they come down to the stripe for 1 lap to green, it's time to find out where they choose to go. Bressi making some minor head movements inside the cockpit, and it looks like he will take it down to the bottom. That's going to be Thomas Bressi way down low, and it looks like he is going to bring Timothy Johnston down with them. Until now, Johnston goes up high, swerves up at the top, and Johnston's going to make that move, letting Matthew Thunhorse go down low. Looks like Michael Stroll will go up top. Don Stevenson now going to be on the bottom side, and Alec Daffin, making up quite a lot of spots, will find himself now up at the top side with that number 48 now in 6th. The Juggernauts are up ahead. 1 lap to go. The pace car's lights are off, and we are set for one hell of a finish to finish off the Throwback Night 200. Time for something that's quite new in stock car racing, the overtime finish. Instead of running this race until the checkered flag falls regardless, we're going to put ourselves into a short dash. Now, not an official overtime attempt, but the overtime style nature means 3 laps to go. If we get a caution, we will send it into our green-white checkered procedure, and we will have 3 attempts there to finish the race with the extended amount of time necessary. A caution would keep us going, but if we go green to the white flag, it is checkers or wreckers. 3 laps to go. This time by, it's Thomas Bressi and Timothy Johnston looking to finish what they started. Here we go again. Bressi wheel spins, contact in the back, green flags out, and we're back on our way with 4 going on 3 laps remaining. And now as you look at the rest of the field here, you can see them all bottling up. DJ Stagner, not the best start. Jacob Fife fades back into 9th. And Casey Shue's now going to be position number 8 with Johnston to the wall. Timothy Johnston fades back big and with some contact with the right side. He's now going to be outside of the top 10 contention. Johnston fades back big and now has a ways to go to recover for any good spot as Thomas Bressi now leads with 0.4 of a second left. 2 laps to go. Can Matthew Thunderhorse make up that gap and put himself in position. Your race leader's camera's on the right side of your screen, and right now it's going to be the main feed once again on the left, coming down to whether or not Matthew Thunderhorse can make a charge to get back to your race leading driver. Timothy Johnston, trouble exiting corner 2. He fades back as a result, only going to be able to reclaim up to the position number 9. 1 lap to go. This time by the race is official. The final lap here from Darlington, and they're ripping the high side, trying not to get a Darlington stripe, but it's all out from this point onward. Brescia leads the way. The number 24 machine carrying himself through, has nothing to worry about. Cody Smith wrecks in the back, but we will go to the final corner, and coming off of corner number 4 indeed. Second win of the season already. First a road course, now the track too tough to tame. It is Thomas Brescia winning the Ignite Throwback Night 200 and takes it back in resounding fashion for a long run battle of the ages to an overtime finish to remember a 24 back on top once again. And another victory for Thomas Brescia. Watkins Glen is first, and then again getting it here at Darlington. What a final few laps we had there. Johnston fades back, unfortunately, with damage, and now Brescia looking to burn down the house. How about that ending as he'll take it through this time by before the celebration begins? Let's take a look at your overall race results as Thomas Brescia brings it through to the start-finish line one more time. It's Thomas Brescia, your race winner in a thriller at the end, winning by half a second over Matthew Thunderhorse with Michael Stroll, position number 6, and Don Stevenson in the 4th spot. Alec Daffin comes home in 5th with DJ Stagner, position number 6, and Jacob Fife then in 7th as Casey Shue comes through for an 8th place spot, and Timothy Johnston is there in 9th. It's Rob Ackley then to round out the top 10, and just behind will be Gael Brooks in 11th, Travis McQuistion rebounds for 12th, and Alan Dobbs comes home in 13th. Going to be Chad Micas, position number 14, and Brian McFerrin then 15th as Justin Morton holds on for 16th, claiming a few spots back after the end of line penalty. It'll be Boomer Logan 17th, Forrest Smith 18th, Brandon Bernhardt 19th, and Cody Smith to round out the top 20, 1 lap down. And to finish it all off, Kyle Cooper comes home 21st, it'll be Cal Filarski 22nd, Jonathan Gearvon 23rd, and Sean Carmody then in 24th. It'll be Chris Cabot 25th, and to round out the pack, 26th and last, it is Cody Griffin 76 laps down. And as they come to the line once again, it's Thomas Brescia looking to burn down the house. And now Thomas Brescia putting it into motion here, getting it in reverse and coming back down to pit road after a long night at the sim. Looks like he'll take it back to the start-finish line instead and park it there first. Brescia making his way in after a tremendous performance tonight will come through and take it back to the front of this track. And just like that, Thomas Brescia concludes his burnout here in Darlington and gets it done, taming the track they call too tough. We'll be right back with our top 3 interviews after our final message from NextLevelRacing.com. As always, high quality sim racing products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. We'll be right back after this brief message once again from NextLevelRacing.com. Coming back after a fantastic race live on FTN, the number 24 of Thomas Bressi finishes what he started and continues the clinic all the way into the very last lap. Thomas Bressi getting it done for win number 2 on the season, and this time getting it done at an oval. Darlington, you got it done with a lot of dominating laps and eventually even finish it off in that final sprint to the checkered. How was it out there tonight with 200 miles on the table?
Late tired. That's how it went. No, it was good though. It was very weird, like when that first caution came out, because my teammates and I, we were trying to deliberate: do we 2-stop? Do we just go 1? And we kind of committed to the 1-stop. And I think had it gone green, that probably would have been the right call, anyways. But then, yeah, I didn't have great luck with flat traffic there, and honestly, I think without that last yellow, I probably was gonna lose the race because I had lost like 3 seconds to lapped cars. So, and Johnson was pretty decent on the long run, like at the end, right before I pitted for the final time, anyways. So I knew I couldn't afford to give up time, and it got taken from me. So caution kind of saved my bacon there, and then fortunately, Matt took the same lane as me, and he was able to kind of at least be side by side with Timothy going it through 1 and 2, and just gave me enough to claw away a little bit. So just happy it worked out. But like you said, at least got a win on an oval. It's a lot easier, I have found, when you qualify well, which happened tonight. So the race is a lot more straightforward than some of the other ones, instead of spending the first half of it trying to pick through the field. But yeah, good night overall. Just, I like Darlington. I'm really happy to get a win here. I've been close a bunch before. The last time I was here in the league, we had a doubleheader and I won the first one and was like half a car short of the second one. So it's a place that's come good for me. And I think the new damage model that got released this past week definitely changed the race a lot. I scraped the wall a couple times and it probably let me get away with it. And the car just drove really differently too, because the car was bottoming out really bad through like into 1, especially like the entire run. So it was really free, and that was it was a fun challenge, but just happy it all worked out.
And able to complete a very daunting task here at Darlington, and with some long green flag runs, tire strategy meant quite a lot as the night went on, even though, of course, we had a very short run to finish it. Getting that proper strategy to go till the end gave you the track position to claw down what was an 18-second gap to the leaders and eventually make it back in no time. How was it managing that strategy as the night went on?
Yeah, well, that's what we were trying to figure out. We didn't know. We felt like the 1-stop was going to be the way to go, like when we went back green at like lap 25 or whatever it was. And then there were guys that were coming in like in the 50s, and we were like, are we doing this wrong? Because they were flying back through the field, but then I even felt like a couple of them pitted so early they couldn't have made it to the end. So we weren't sure if they were just going for a big undercut. And there were some guys that did. Like, I know Stroll tried it. I think I went like 10, maybe 15 laps longer than him. I don't know. It's what it felt like. But even that, I just erased the whole thing. And then, then after that, it was like when guys like Chad and Rob were pitting a second time, when we had thought they were going to be on the 1-stop, we're like, do we need to switch? And at that point, we were kind of committed with how long we had gone before. So it was tricky. And because obviously when you have stickers, you feel like a superhero, so you just want to blast through the field or whatever. But we were like, okay, we got to go like 60 something laps here, be smart with the tires. And especially we were thinking, especially if there were other guys that were going to do the 1-stop and they had stopped before us, we were going to have the tire advantage anyway. So it was just trying to keep that mindset of be patient, it will come to you. And it did. It was just really really fast, and then it was seeing what other people were doing. But again, I think it probably, the 1-stop would have been the right call. Again, obviously, I think had we stayed green there at the end, I probably wouldn't have won the race. I don't think I could have held off Johnson just because of the gap getting erased. But other than that, I think it was the right way to go. So
And able to make everything happen for the long run to the short, Thomas Bressi getting it done for win number 2 on the season, back on the top of the board. And of course, Darlington a thriller after our brief break, and tell you this much, after tonight, from Darlington we'll head down to Atlanta, and it's going to be a different look. It's going to be the SuperSpeedway configuration, so going to be some trouble there. Of course, a lot of drivers saying it's not suiting their fancy, but still an opportunity for a win once again. You've won a SuperSpeedway before in this series. Can you do it again?
So this is the part, I guess, where I share that I haven't actually ever, not even practiced on the new Atlanta, because I'm one of the people that's still bitter that they tore up the old one. But I'm gonna have to figure it out because apparently the car actually gets to be a handful later in the run. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I probably should do a little homework on how that's gonna go and like maybe go look at some like B fixed races or something there, or like some replays or whatever, if I can, if I can find them or whatever. But it's going to be different. It's definitely not going to be, it's not going to be like the Daytonas and Talladegas or anything. And I'm not even really sure how many people in this group have run a league race at the New Atlanta. Because I mean, most of the group has been together for a couple years, and I know this is our first time running it. So it'll be interesting. I know that much. And the new damage model is going to make it even more interesting. So I don't know. We'll see.
We're looking forward to another stunning race next Monday, but coming back after a brief break, once again, victory lane. The crooked numbers for Thomas Bressi come through, winning at the Darlington Raceway. Any final thoughts?
No, just, shout out to the JT Motorsports guys as always. Shout out to Tyler. I know he said he was watching. He got the flu. Otherwise, he was going to be racing tonight. So feel better, bud. And, just thanks to the series admins for the work they've done to kind of put everything together. Obviously, you for getting the broadcast, everybody, and just hopefully everybody watch and enjoy the show.
And there we have it. Thomas Bressi back in victory lane with the Ignite Throwback Night 200 in the books, taming the track too tough. Thank you for your time.
Take care, bud.
Now, Thomas Bressi then on the move. Matthew Thunor second on the day. The number 8 machine came home for another very solid finish. Looks like this season, very good start, and Thunor's once again oh so close to victory lane. Second place on the day here from Darlington. How was it avoiding the chaos and coming through for a runner-up finish tonight?
Well, David, I think after that lap 20 caution, I pretty much was the chaos there for the most part, and just one of those, just trying to learn the track and keep the tires on it. And I didn't do a very good job at all that first run, but I'm still pretty happy I was able to keep the tires on it long enough to turn that into one stop, because I think for when I was talking to with Justin behind me, Morton that is, he said we weren't going to get caught. So, I mean, either way, to recover back, considering, well, I don't even think falling like a rock was accurate enough to say how fast I was falling through some of the field, but, just to recover well and, I was struggling real bad. So to even just if we would have gone green, gotten a top 5 there, and it's a second place. I hate to see what happened with Tim there. I need to talk with him maybe a little bit more or something, or look at the replays. I don't know if I got him. I don't think I did, but honestly, who knows my internet recently. So either way, but just either way, just to have a good strong run. If you discount what happened with my internet crapping out at Motegi, it would have been a lot of top 5s. I think all top 10s this season. So it's been really strong. Yeah, it stinks not to get any checkered flags so far, but I can't sit there and turn my nose up at how I've been running so far, and
And as you mentioned, recovery with the long run, that's pretty challenging. And we had over 100 laps of green flag racing in succession before we got that final stint on the move. So getting through that final segment, that's always tough, of course, but getting back to that high position before that point, that's even harder. So how was it understanding what you need to do to put yourself back in place in the case something crazy happened?
Well, that was the nice thing about that first long run, is that it kind of taught me, like, hey, this is where you're really messing up. This is where you're really struggling. And fresh tires can really, get rid of past sins, essentially, for how bad my car was handling. And just kind of understanding, like, hey, I'm not going to fix everything. I know I can make it to where my tires aren't going to be as bad at the end there. And it was just one of those things that you learn what you can. I knew I still needed to kind of be quick there on the start, and it kind of paid off when I was able to get around Don there. I knew he was strong long run, and I kind of closed a little bit on Thomas, and I closed there on Tim before he kind of turned the jets on there on the second half of that run. And so it's just learning what I could and just understanding, be a little bit more finessing with the throttle, which I didn't do a very good job with the first time, and just making sure I don't outpace myself, which honestly, you're going to come from behind, but with how bad the fall off here was, I knew we were going to be catching guys, so I didn't have to run hard. And honestly, I was just hoping to stay in the top 10. So, to recover to the top 5 was already feeling good there, and finding out that, hey, here aren't these guys, the fresh tires come hauling up with 10 to go and you're just going to plummet again. It's a good feeling. I somehow struggled to stay on the right strategy there up until that caution came out, and it just all worked out. So I was pretty fortunate there, David.
And pretty fortunate to come through with another solid finish before one of the most chaotic tracks on the schedule all year long, New Atlanta. Now, I know a lot of drivers, not the biggest fans of this track, but we're still hitting one of the most chaotic circuits down in Georgia. So what's it going to take to keep this momentum running and put together another strong effort?
I have no idea, David. It's one of those things that super speedways last season were my Achilles heel, because there was there was wreck somewhere. I was in the middle of it, and I got fortunate to get a good top 5 at Daytona earlier this season. So, maybe I'll have some more good fortune shine upon me at Atlanta, and I was able to take it home when we were there at the mile and a half. It'd be pretty special to be able to do it with a new configuration, but for the most part, I think that one I'm just going to kind of play the coward strategy and just kind of find some place to hide in that field until we get to the end, and hopefully just keep the fenders on her and keep the tires on her and see if we can get there to the end. But I will say, though, that new damage model iRacing did, it was so nice not to see the dreaded 12.5 seconds of damage and your car's just garbage after a little wall hit. And, so hopefully with the new damage model, the cars won't be catastrophically off speed after a little bump. So I'm not dreading Atlanta as much as I could be, but it's still a super speedway. So it's kind of like, who knows? You throw the dice and you hope they come out the way you want it.
And looking to keep the car in one piece for a chaotic race in just a week's time, Matthew Thornworth pulls together for a top 2 second place on the day here in Darlington. Anything else you'd like to add to wrap this interview off?
No, just, thanks to everybody who's watching, and all the numerous sponsors. I can't honestly think the name off, and everything you do, David, and everybody with Fireball Talks for presenting this. And hopefully it was a good show for y'all. So thanks again for watching, and hope to see y'all next week.
And Matthew's on our second place on the day here at the Darlington Raceway. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thunder's going to be on the move with your final man inside the podium tonight being Michael Stroll, able to make it back up to the podium. He was leading earlier in the going, but eventually found himself there back in the podium at the end of a chaotic 3-lap shootout. Up and down day for the 38 crew, able to lead some laps and still come home with a podium finish. Michael Stroll, third of the day. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I love Darlington, and every time we come here, we try to have it a pretty long race. Think it's good for the track. I didn't feel too confident. Maybe get the top 5. I felt like for a while there, I was like, maybe back half top 5. 6th, 7th, 8th. That's where I was going to run. But we got that long green run. Real proud of the league also for having over 100 lap run there. But I worked my way up to second and was about 2 seconds behind Thomas, and then I just really goofed on the strategy. I think I pitted too soon. I did want to pit before Thomas to try to undercut him, and I think I maybe had a chance, but I counted wrong. I goofed up my own crew chief, and I am having to start clutching it there at the end. The caution kind of saved me. I was about a half lap to good, and was probably going to finish 4th or 5th regardless. But taking another top 3, that's I think three in a row. I'm on the podium. Just keep chipping away at it, and just hope to be there at the end, and maybe get one here. And maybe you can interview me first one of these weeks.
And keeping it up in the podium, of course, the goal, but with the next track in the schedule, anything goes. It's New Atlanta for the first time in the Ignite Series history, and coming off a more predictable track where it's not easy to keep it side by side and keep it very racy, we're going to the exact opposite in just a week's time. So how will it be like adapting from this race and taking it all to the next?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have not run New Atlanta yet, so from what I've heard, it's kind of like a plate track, but once you get in a long run, the handling does go away a little bit. So we'll see how that turns out. Um, and obviously the weather is a factor. A lot of these are a lot, if not all of these iRacing setups for this B car, I assume are set for 70 and clear, and we don't run that. So it's a curveball every week with the weather. So we got two plate tracks in a row, I guess. So just try to, I just try to lead every lap I can and take every run I can, but I also got to be cognizant of not free falling and giving up all the points that I've earned in the last 3 weeks because I did start in a hole. So I might race a little bit differently and a little bit more defensive and protective, or however you want to see it, and just let the rough side drag and see what happens.
And with another solid finish in the books, Michael Stroll comes home third tonight from the track Too Tough to Tame. Looking forward to another exciting race at Atlanta. Anything more you'd like to add?
No, just want to thank my team, Domination Racing. We all try to work together and try to get everybody up to speed. Looks like right now we got like 3 guys that are going to make the top 16. And just try to just keep working together, and hopefully one of us can get a win here somewhere.
And keeping the team up at the front of the field, Michael Stroll, carrying the banner, comes through for a podium finish here in Darlington. Thank you for your time.
Have a good night.
And Michael Stroll, the final man on the move, comes home third tonight in the Ignite Throwback Night 200. Getting it done in the third place is Michael Stroll, with Matthew Thunor second and Thomas Pressey winning tonight's event. First on the order, 146 laps down. Long runs, short runs, we saw everything in between. Another fantastic showdown as the Ignite Series comes back into fruition. Now, I'll tell you this much, tomorrow night we'll be back at Darlington, and I'll be back there on Thursday night as well, so stick around for Darlington week here on FTN. Another one of those fun weeks where everyone goes to the same track. Next up, the Ignite Series heads to the track Too Tough to Tame. Looking to do it again tomorrow night at the same time, 8:50 Eastern. I believe the Schumacher Racing League is still live right now. You'll be sent there immediately after this transmission concludes. And we thank you all for your consistent support of the Integrity Ignite Series. Once again, as it's been all season long, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and if you enjoyed tonight's presentation, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's the most direct way to support this channel, and all support and feedback is always greatly appreciated. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Integrity Ignite Series, and we hope to see you all as viewers yet again whenever we're live on FTN. We thank you all for your continuous support, and we hope to see you once again, and we also hope that you have a great night.